That was incredible.
We are starting today's adventure with another a bit unusual mode of transportation. I love trains, trams and buses, so I use them whenever I can. But I've never taken one to photograph and film the wildlife before. After about 1 hour's drive with the tram, we arrive to the station where we are supposed to take a bus to the final destination. But the bus never shows up, so we end up walking for a good hour to reach the park.
Hi, I'm in Scandinavian Wild Park, here in Denmark, to photograph and film wildlife. Ready? Let's go.
We enter the park as soon as it opens, because we want to have as much time as possible before the other visitors show up. We start with the wolves. They are, besides the owls, probably my favorite wild animal. But you will also hear me say that for many other species, because that's just how it is. I love and appreciate all of them, and when I get excited, they get promoted to my favorites list. We continue on to where the foxes are. What I notice immediately is that they all have their spots where they sit and observe, and every once in a while they switch their positions like in some kind of formation. It's awesome that I get to photograph and film them so up close, as you get to see all the detail in their fur. Where I live, foxes avoid people as much as they can, and they come out mostly during night time. Next, we pass the enclosure full of fallow deer. These little fellas are very curious, and because they are used to people, they come very close. I take a few photos and then move on. We continue walking through this beautiful nature towards the eagles. On our way, we stop for a moment and I take a photo of the wild boar. When we approach the eagles, I notice how big these animals actually are, as I'm used to seeing them further away from me. I look up and see one of the eagles scratching, so I take a few photos. It hears me and looks down with such a funny and judgmental look. It felt like I invaded their privacy. Now, it's feeding time for the eagles. I use this opportunity to practice my tracking and focusing skills with birds in flight. Since I am using my Nikon Z6, this is more challenging than it sounds. I am patiently waiting for the Nikon to release a mirrorless D500 body. Then we head towards the polar bears. I've never seen a polar bear before, so I am very excited. Even though this doesn't fulfill my wish of seeing them in the wild, I still very much enjoy the opportunity and take lots of photos and video footage. I am again using my Nikon Z6 with a Sigma 70-200 paired with 1.4x teleconverter. Also, you can see me using my small travel tripod. It's not nearly as sturdy as my other two tripods, and it's hard to pan smoothly, but it's still much better than doing it handheld. This moment was so cute that I'm really happy that I managed to capture it. The polar bear cub was being clumsy for a moment and he or she fell into the water. Just the head and the front legs got wet, but his or her reaction was much more dramatic. So sweet. Now I am filming a male polar bear. He is in a separate space, probably because of the small cubs. Something must be itching or tickling him because he's trying so hard to make it go away. Next up, the brown bears. There were quite a few of them. Some are sleeping and enjoying the warm weather, others are crawling around and digging for some plant roots. After observing the bears, it's time for us to head back. On our way out, we walk past the musk ox fence again. Before, all the musk ox were standing far from the path and very close to the fence. But this time, as we approached, I noticed that one of them was standing much closer and looking curiously at us. I quickly snapped this photo and then we headed for the exit.
That was incredible. See you next time.